What's up, everyone? Kwame here, and I got something really interesting to talk about today, and it's the this big elephant in the room that has been taking over everything, and that's AI. But this is a little bit different. I watched a video yesterday over on Photo Nerds, Micro Four Thirds Nerds, geez, Micro Four Thirds Nerds, and you got to check it out. It's about this camera, this Caira camera, and it's a camera that is seems pretty cool, right? It's a camera that doesn't have a viewfinder and use your phone for the viewfinder. Right now, I think it's just iOS, but you use your phone as the viewfinder, and then you can take pictures and all this kind of stuff. Really, really cool. There's been other cameras like that. I remember Sony had a couple cameras like that. Fujifilm might have had something like that. But this is a micro four thirds camera. So again, a legit camera that you can. That's you know you don't have a viewfinder because you're using your phone. Pretty cool. However, it also has built-in AI, and not just any AI. Like everything has AI these days, but this one has, what is it? It's Google's Nano Banana inside of it. And if you haven't heard of Nano Banana, it's wild. Like you can truly create images that look real. Like it's super wild, but the way that it's used in this camera is interesting. Now it's not turned on by default. You do have to go into some settings, and I will leave the link down below to her video because it's unbelievable. She does a really good job of not just talking about the camera. She actually doesn't do that great of a job talking about the camera, but she shows off some of these AI things, which is really interesting. That's one way of putting it. So she showed like with any of this generative AI stuff, like it's all text based and then you create an image, right? But you can use the camera, and within the camera you can ask it. I mean, I was using your phone, but then you can say like, hey, take this image and make it on a blank background. Make it do this. Add a second camera. Like I again watch the video because it is wild what could happen. But then she raised this question of like, what what are we what's the role of AI in photography? Because this is the first camera to do it, but it's not going to be the only and it won't be the last, right? I think by 2027, Sony, Canon, Nikon, Fuji, they will all have some form of AI in their cameras. Look at our phones right now. Computational photography is a legit thing, right? It's the difference between a phone and, my Sony A7CR. Computational photography will look at almost every pixel and try to expose for the best looking image. Now, is that image truly what we saw when we took that picture using our phone? Sometimes, sometimes not. But now when you add this extra layer, and this is one of the examples that she showed. Now she used this in Nano Banana. You can do this right now. You can take an image, and let's say she took an image of New York, and she was there in the summertime, and she said, "Hey, make these trees look like it's fall," and it did, and it looked real, and you couldn't tell the difference. And then same with she went to Japan for a couple years, 2 years in a row, and she missed the cherry blossoms. So then she was like, add cherry blossoms to these trees, and it did, and it looked real. And so at that point, it's like, what's an image? And I will say, like, I have used AI tools in Lightroom and Photoshop for many years now, like to clone things out, or like if there's a dust spot, or there's a random person behind like my wife and kid while I'm taking a picture of them at a beach or something. I have used like the content aware fill to like remove that kind of stuff. And there are people who even that is too far. There's a photographer, Steven Johnson. He is a fine art landscape photographer, and he's said like if he takes a picture and there's trash in the scene that he didn't see when he took the picture, he leaves it in there. And the only way he'll take something out of an image is if he physically goes into the scene and takes out, like he finds the trash and he takes it out. And then there's other people who think pixels are for punishing, right? They have no problems cropping and editing and manipulating to get the image that they want. But what's the purpose of our photography? Is it to make fake images, right? Like This is a when we were recently in Vegas, my son made this Hershey chocolate bar. Let's see if I can get this in focus. There. And this is a picture I took of Julio Rodriguez hitting a go ahead home run. And he, I sent him that image and he put it on that picture. And because we were there, we saw it. He called the home run right before it happened. Like there's an attachment to that image. Could I have made this image in Nano Banana? Probably. And could have looked real? Probably. But would that connection be there? Like the relationship between me and like I think I wish I knew the lady's name from Micro Four Thirds Nerds. Yeah, I think her name channel is amazing, but also throws me off. But she also said like the point of photography is like we have a connection to those images. Like there's a backstory of like finding the right leaf or finding the right composition or whatever it is, and there's going to be generations of people who are growing up with like photography is typing or dictating something into a computer and creating a scene out of it. That's, I mean, I hate to say, but like, that is going to be a reality of a certain generation. And I don't know where, I mean, I know where I stand on it, right? Like for me, I use AI tools all the time. I use Grammarly, I use spell check, I use other things to help me in my everyday. Like that's just the reality. But when you look at things like Sora or Google's image generation or Mid Journey or all these other video generation things, it's getting to be a little bit too realistic, and we're not going to be able to tell what's real and what's fake, right? Like I use Sora all the time, not for like real work stuff. Like I would never use it for a client or anything like that. But like when I'm sending stupid videos to my sister-in-law, or my brother-in-law, to my wife, or my kid, like I use it all the time for that. I have used Midjourney quite a bit for creating like little happy birthday messages for my nieces and nephews. They love it. And like I'm not an illustrator, nor would I pay an illustrator for like to send a text for a kid birthday party. Like that wouldn't make sense for me, financial sense for me. But so I've used them, but like I don't use them as like I'm the creator. I'm an artist. It's for more like it's just fun, jokey, kind of trolling things, right? And I have no problems with that. Like I have no problems using it for those situations where I do draw a solid line is saying like, this thing was real. And I've talked about AI in photography before if you want to check that out, but like it's getting really, I mean, like this is mind blowing. Like there's this camera that has this built in, and again, it's not like front and center, but there will be one that is front and center. There will be one that is like, hey, you can take a picture of something and the camera will make it better, right? Like our phones do that already, right? We can take a picture and it's going to be perfectly exposed and all that kind of stuff. But now it's going to be like, no, you can really make this look even better. You can make your picture looks the best picture. So then we're going to have like a flood of pictures that aren't real. I mean, where's the line? And I think, something that was said in the video was like, as a photography community, we need to have this conversation of like, what are we willing to accept? What are we willing to put up with? If this camera sells very well, obviously there will be more companies who will invest in this. If it doesn't sell well, maybe, they won't invest as heavily, but they'll figure out, what worked, what didn't work. Personally, like the idea of the camera is really appealing to me, not the AI part, but the part of like, I can have a modular camera that I could like set up on a tripod, use my phone as a receiver. And yes, I could do that with my certain Sony cameras, I believe, and some other cameras can do that. Like, I get it. That's not new. But there's always been this goal, and I used to have one of those Sony cameras. And I even think it had, there was one that you could put a lens on there that would transmit to my, I believe I had an iPhone, like the iPhone 5 or something like that. Like, it was pretty cool. And it was like modular, and it was like, yeah, it's a real camera, but it's not this big bulky camera, right? And so, for me, the A7CR is an amazing size. I love this size of a camera, and I'm not gonna ever get rid of this camera. Same with the Ricoh GR3X, like cameras. I'm firmly in the camp of like, I love taking pictures. I love finding pictures. I love the hunt and all that good stuff. But there's gonna be people who put up pictures that are, may have started as like an actual image and ended up with something else, right? They're gonna take the most amazing picture of a lion that probably won't be real. But and how are we gonna tell? And what does it matter to us? Like, I'm a huge believer in what other people eat doesn't make you use the bathroom. That's a very sanitized way of saying it. So, if other people are out here creating generative AI pictures and sharing them on Instagram or, Glass or whatever, like, that's fine. It doesn't really bother me in the sense of like, it doesn't affect me. Like, I'm not going to change being the type of photographer I am. I'm not going to change carrying camera bodies with me or interchangeable lenses or even like the little pocket cameras. Like, I'm not changing that. But I also am interested in these like cameras that can be attached to your phone, and then I've always been interested in that. Like, I've always just liked technology. And I am cool with AI. Like, I use it all the time. I have no problem with it in certain contexts. I have no problem with it in certain contexts. Like I said, create images to send to friends and family. Same with the video. But I'm using them intentionally for fun. Like, I'm not trying to do anything malicious with it. But then there's that side of like, I mean, you can already take a picture in public and like do manipulate and all that kind of stuff, but like, if you could do it in real time, I just don't know. Like, I think we're at a point with this technology where it's like, it was an interesting topic. Like, it's an interesting thesis, but I think it's gotten a little bit out of control. And there's no way to put the cat's out of the bag, right? We can't go back. We can't undo this. So I'm not saying like we should figure out how to stop all AI. It's not going to happen. But I think we just have to be ready for, there's going to be a lot of AI. And people say AI slop. I don't like saying that, because there are people who, they're just not artists, right? Like, one of the things, if someone is not an artist, but they have like ideas in their head for like something that they really want, and this tool is out and it can help them create it, I have no problem with that. Like, as long as you're honest and upfront about it, I have no problem with that. What I do have a problem with, if you're trying to pass that on as like you actually created that by your hands, right? And maybe that's the difference, right? What we do with photography, we have to go out, walk the streets, walk the trails. You have to be there to take that picture, and there's a backstory, and there's work and effort that goes into creating that picture. If you just see an image of Rome and you're like, oh, I want to make that for myself, you're not like, that's not creating art, in my opinion. And again, I don't have the answers. I don't know where, like, I know where I fall on this, but I don't have the answers for everyone on this topic. And as far as the company and the camera, like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of interested in it. Now, my whole no buy for November, so I'm not buying anything, or and technically, even if you backed it on Kickstarter, who knows if you're ever gonna, like, when you're gonna get it, like, that's the other thing. But I think it is interesting, like this idea of a modular camera where you can, you know, you're using your phone as the viewfinder, which is pretty cool. But it would be better, and again, it has interchangeable lenses, so you can build out like a legit kit on a Micro Four Thirds kit, and have a great, like, if you used it just for that, I would think it's still a really cool camera system and a really cool idea. But the AI portion of it and everything else, I don't know. Like it's a tough. I don't know. I don't have the answers. I don't know. But I would love to know what you all think. And again, go check out her link. I'm going to leave a link down below to her. I'm going to leave a link down to the Kickstarter campaign if you are interested in like seeing what the camera is all about. I will leave a link down to a couple other videos too, who they go more in depth about the features of the camera. She does a really good, I will say, she does a good job of like showing off the camera and explaining the AI portion, but she also really goes down to like existential road of like what does this mean for photography and photographers. And I think it's a great conversation to have, and one that I want to have either here on, in the comments over here, or if you go over to my Substack, I'm going to put a post over there. You can leave a comment and let's have a true discussion. Are there people who are you pros to excuse me, or do you think this is a good thing? And if so, why? Like, I would love to hear that argument. Or are you on the other side and you're like, this is a bridge too far. This is this is not needed. We shouldn't be doing this. And I feel like I'm kind of in that camp. Like, me, like, I don't know. But I would love to hear your comments down below. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, leave like a camera emoji or something. That would be cool. Let me know that you watched it all the way to the end, and also go check out Micro Four Third Nerds camera video, because she does a great job talking about this subject, and which got me thinking about this subject. So I really do appreciate her for bringing this up, and I would love to have a conversation with her one day. I think she has amazing ideas, and I've seen her on Petapixel before, and she's really awesome. So go check out and subscribe to her channel. All right. Thank you as always for watching this video. I will see you in the next one, and hopefully hear from your comments down below. I will talk to you later. Bye bye.